Hello and welcome to Carne Golf Links. I am here on the northwesternmost tip of County Mayo, and this is golf on the edge of the earth. And I know this to be true because there's a sign by the clubhouse that says so. And besides, next stop that way is Newfoundland. Next stop that way is Canada. This is as explosive, as big, as adventurous, as everything a links as you could possibly imagine. I'll be honest, it's taken me well over a year of planning to get here to Carne, and I'm still not quite sure of the best way to present the course to you. It's complicated. I mean, there are two specific reasons. One is there are 27 holes here, and Carne present that as two 18-hole golf courses. So you've got the Wild Atlantic Dunes and you've got the Hackett. It's even more complicated than that, and I'll come back to that later. The second is this: the enormity of the dunes here. It is so big, it is so epic in scale. You've never seen anything like it. I mean, the dunes rise some 500 feet above sea level. You could fall off at the top of a dune on a Sunday and not land till Tuesday. It is that kind of scale. The thing is, if you want to come to Carne, I mean, in Ireland we are blessed with the links courses that we have. You've got the amazing destination that is the southwest of Ballybunion and Waterville and Dukes, the Hinch, Tralee. It's a long list, and it is incredibly popular with people from all around the world. What I will say about Carne is this: Carne is an odyssey. Coming here is something that is so special. It is so different to anywhere else in the world and in Ireland. I mean, it's just huge. I wrote a book, and in Hooked I said that Carne was the playground of giants. Here's why. I certainly hope that this video will show off the scale of Carne. I don't do video drone footage, I do everything from the ground. If you want to see some drone footage that really shows off from the sky what the place looks like, you'll find some on their website. There's a link here. Okay, let's go back to the layout, because there are issues that you need to know about. The course has been open since 1995. And only in recent years has the layout changed. So if you were lucky enough to play here 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you will have played the original Hackett course. That course has actually changed. You now play the back nine first, followed by the front nine. The Wild Atlantic Dunes is even more complicated because it combines the new holes that were built in 2013 with the back nine of the Hackett. It's not that simple, never is. They've sort of blended them together, and I'll put up a scorecard here and you can actually see. Maybe take a screenshot if you're interested. When I go around, what I'm going to be doing is I'll show you the Wild Atlantic Dunes course. That's probably the easiest place to start, and I'll type something along the bottom just to say which the holes are and what they used to be, just so if you have been here, you get an idea of what's going on. One of the things that I like to add to a video is the issues that I have with a golf course. Invariably there is something, a weak hole here or there, holes that might cross so it could be dangerous, that sort of thing. I usually leave that until the very end of the video. Carne, though, is different because I'm going to put the issues, the two issues, right here at the start. The first is this: there are 27 holes here. You need to come here and you need to play all 27. People come on day trips, they come across from wherever it might be, and they come here and they play 18 holes and then they shoot off again. You know, that is the way. I appreciate that when you're on a travel package, That's often the way it just ends up. But you're missing a trick. You need to come here and you need to play all 27 holes. If you can do it in a day, great. Why not come for 2 days, stay overnight? There are 2 hotels in the village. There's the Talbot Hotel and there's the Broadhaven Bay. So you can stay there for the night and then you play one 18 hole the first day and the second 18 hole the following day. You really need to get a feel for the course, and playing all 27 holes, you won't be disappointed. I promise you, you won't be disappointed if you play all 27. It's a memory that you'll take away with you. And speaking of memories, that's my second issue. If you come here, Carne is unlike anything you have ever played before. So why play like you usually play? Just going at a pin with a wedge. Yeah, sure, but try and see shots that you would play or you would never dream of playing somewhere else. The land here, the terrain, the turf allows you to do different things. So why not do them? Bryson, that's how you shout 4. Here is a little piece of history, because when Hackett originally designed this course, the green wasn't up here over to the right. He actually had it pretty much straight down the middle. There is still a post lost in the dunes, but you can see it. Keep an eye out for it. You just never know what's coming next, and that makes this an adventure unlike anything else. I mean, just look at this par 3. you just want to play shot after shot after shot. This is the par 5/8 on the Wild Atlantic Dunes. This is as good a time as any to discuss the Kilmore 9 as they were once known. They are now integrated into the Wild Atlantic Dunes, so Kilmore is no more. But this 9, which opened in 2013, was designed, let's say originally, by an American architect called Jim Eng. When it came time to actually construct it, create it and lay it out completely, they brought in a Scottish architect called McIntosh. And he came here and designed 9 incredible holes. And he did it for just €200,000. Think about that for a minute. That's your minute up. Okay, these 2 balls, they're in pretty good position. About 250 yards, shall we say, from the tee, which means you've got 230, 240 to get the rest of the way. And you've got the 2 choices. You can either go down through that devil's elbow there, which is the long way round, or you can go up and over. You can see there's a triangle at the top there. That's a line that takes you over the dune directly at the green, pretty much. So you have your choices. Do you play safe? Do you go for glory? It's only about 120 yards, 130 yards. That's the shot that you need to go down there to that devil's elbow. And from there, it's probably the same again, 120 yards or so to get to the green. Par 3 10th. It's index 10. It's 214 yards, and you've got huge chasm down the left hand side. What are you gonna hit? McIntosh greens are very different to Hackett's greens. In fact, they couldn't really be more different. I mean, you can see on this, you can see the shapes of that green. There is a lot of turbulence to them, whereas Eddie preferred much smoother, single slope greens. They are much easier to read. Didn't necessarily make them any easier to putt on, believe me, but with all the chaos of the landscape that Eddie worked with, maybe he felt that it was just kinder to the golfer to give them softer greens. Hallie McIntosh didn't think that way at all, and there are some really interesting, you know, like being tossed around on an ocean, to be honest. Say goodbye to that tee. The par 4 17th. This is a monster. Every shot is tough, and I mean right down to that last 2-foot putt. I love how Eddie Hackett designed this hole. He used the natural terrain. He really worked his magic on this one, and perhaps more than anything, this shows off how he could produce an incredibly tough hole that is actually a work of art. John Garrity, the American writer, he came here several years ago when he was writing his book Ancestral Links, and he played this hole 18 times in a row to try to make par. Did he make it? You'll just have to read the book and find out. I can tell you this, I'm not doing it, because that would just break my heart. Oh, I'll take that. The 18th hole is 529 yards. It's a par 5. It is a beautiful finishing hole and certainly one of the most entertaining finishing holes I've ever played. It's a straightforward enough drive, you can see it down there, but what you can't see and what stretches for I don't know, 100, 150 yards in front of the green is this enormous crater below the green, and it's going to affect your second shot and your third shot, maybe your fourth shot, but it is absolutely huge. And if you can't see it on your second shot, you're really left with a quandary as to how to play it. There's a reason I'm actually here. This is the Hackett 10th hole, but it used to be the first. If you get a good drive, you end up sort of down here. You can see all the divots, so that's a popular spot. But now you're left with this ridge. You don't know where the green is. You can't see the green, you can't even see the flag. So you don't know what you're doing. It's a bit of pot luck. It can be a bit confusing. Even if you have this, it doesn't help you that much, because the green is sort of, here-ish. Okay, what you actually want to be doing is hitting a ball sort of 60, 70 yards in this direction, because the ground feeds down fast and furious to the green in one long bumpy slope. If you hit a 100-yard shot and you land on the green, you're probably not going to hold on to it, and you're just going to go off the back, and there's trouble back there. So you need to be sensible on that. If there's ever an argument for playing a golf course twice, this is it. I mean, think about this, that this used to be the first hole. So your first approach shot, you've no idea what you're doing. Belmullet is in the Gaeltacht. It's an area of Ireland where Irish is spoken in preference to English. I, like every child in Ireland, learned to speak Irish. Unlike most, I was completely and utterly hopeless at it. In fact, probably the only words that ever stuck with me were the words for "shut the door," which is what my teacher used to say to me when he kicked me out of the classroom. I'm here with David Hurst, who is a regular caddy on the course. We were talking about earlier on about the Gaeltacht, so I'm going to ask him to pronounce the name of this hole. So, David?
The name of the hole, when the course was originally designed and built by Eddie Hackett, they named some of the holes, and this one they called Carne Story, which means the little depression of the primroses.
Say shut the door.
Dún Doris, let the hell. If you please.
Thanks very much.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm not one for giving advice, and certainly from someone who draws the ball 50 to 60 yards right to left, not many people want to listen to what I have to say. But on this hole, the par 5 13 on the Hackett, it's quite difficult when you get to the tee to figure out exactly what's required of you. It looks very straightforward. It's not quite that simple. There is, I guess it's about here, you can just see a little pampas bush. That is out of bounds. You go any further left than that, you are gone. So your actual line is kind of here, where this dune comes down and meets the fairway. You hit straight over that corner, you're absolutely fine. Par 3 16th on the Hackett course does cause a little bit of debate. It tends to be a love-hate hole. I actually really like it because you've got to be aggressive. You can see the pin and the green at the top of that slope. Anything short, and when I say anything, I mean anything by 6 inches. If you're short by that much, your ball comes all the way down to the bottom of the hill. It is heartbreaking stuff. And when you're on the tee and you miss, or you're just short, it takes several seconds to get down to the bottom of the hill. This is really as good a time as any to talk about Eddie Hackett, the designer of the course here. He was a genius. The man, the myth, the legend. He was fabulous. He designed this. This was actually one of his very last designs. And he died before he got to see the completion of the course in its entirety. In fairness, he was 86 years old. In fairness, he had tuberculosis as a boy. He wasn't really expected to survive. So it's a hell of a feat what he achieved. He actually designed over 100 golf courses, or had a hand in designing over 100 golf courses. All of them here in Ireland, every single one. Which is why his name is not held in the same esteem as an awful lot of the modern day designers. People don't know his work. Yet if I listed some of his best courses to you, I suspect you'd recognise the courses instantly. Waterville, Ballyliffin Old, Enniscrone, Connemara, and here at Carne. He actually designed 10 of Ireland's 50 links. If you think about that, it's 20% of the links in this country owe their design to this man. Incredibly quiet guy, incredibly humble, and his philosophy on golf course design was very much the same. He believed in doing the minimum that was needed to the landscape. He saw the landscape as dictating the design of the course. He didn't let the designer's hand force anything. And perhaps that's why here at Carne, you are going to find yourself with blind shots, and quite a lot of them. And if you get yourself out of position on the fairways, you will find there are many more. I mean, really, there are so many deep hollows, steep banks all around the course. Any conversation about the best hole at Carne is not a conversation you can have at all, because it has to be multiple. I'm talking holes, and I'm talking lots of choice. I mean, for me, there are only 2 holes probably that don't make it into the conversation for the best hole on the golf course. That is how incredible this place is. It is just it's a sensory overload. From the first tee shot to the last putt, it's just incredible. So, you've got 25 holes to choose from. I'm not going to name the 2 holes that I don't put in the conversation. I'm going to pick 3 holes, 1 from each 9. And apologies to the others. But I'm going to start with what I think will be the signature hole for Carne. And it's here. This is the par 3 14th on the Wild Atlantic Dunes course. Got to remember to give you that. It is 161 yards from here. I'm standing on the white tees, 161 yards. You can see this dune over here on the right. That's got a huge, enormous blowout dune on the inside of it, above the green. And you've got more of those blowout dunes over there. And it's sort of the dunes cocoon the green in the middle. It's brilliant, and it kind of sits so alone. I mean, if you look beyond it, it's just sort of like the wild countryside, and it just makes those things stand out so much more. Thing is, you don't want to play it from the white tees. I mean, my recommendation straight away, and I'll show you some photographs and some film as well as this, is to go over there to the back blue tees. It's 180 yards from over there. It gives you so much more of the view into that green and the blowout dunes left and right. But the green is sensational, and it is so heavily shaped. All the time, everywhere on that green is heavily shaped. And I would suggest that if you have the time and the opportunity, take your ball and go as far from the pin as you possibly can and putt it from there, because the shapes are just going to take you all over. I mean, you can actually, if you see in the video I'm going to show, you can putt to the right and it'll come back in. You can putt to the left and it'll come back in from the other side. It's just kind of wild. The other thing to note is that over here, underneath that dune, I don't know if you can see the flag, just to the right of the flag and over that dune is a bunker that sits really down low. That is a bunker shot that is, well, a terror to say the least. The best hole on the front line of the Wild Atlantic Dunes is here, the second hole. It is not a big hole. It is a mere 326 yards, but it is index 7. That tells you a lot, because this is a wicked little dogleg. See this big dune over here? Do you remember the guy from earlier? Yeah, him. He is standing at the top of the dune and the green is directly on the other side of him. So that's the line. From the tee box, you go directly over the dune to the green. If you want to have a go at driving it, by all means, give yourself the hero moment. Most people are coming down here. This is the fairway here, obviously enough. You go down there and then it's a sharp right turn and up the slopes. I don't know if you can see down the bottom here, there is a bunker. That's at about 250 yards. So you don't want to be hitting further than that. So you've got to decide, what you're playing off the tee. You probably want to sort of hit a 180, 200 yard shot. If you're a little bit short and you're over here just short of that dune, well, you're blind to the green and you've got to get the ball up very fast to get over the dune. If you decide to go for the green, and you wind up short and you're on that dune, that is a stance that, well, even trying to swing the club, you'll be doing very well to keep your balance. On the back nine of the Hackett course, the best hole is here on the 18th. It's a brilliant 350 yard hole, index 4. I mean, you can see the pin up here, just to the left of the clubhouse, and you might also be able to see there's a ridge. Now, I'm not even going to try and point to it. I'll show an arrow instead. But there's a ridge, and if you can fly the ball 240 yards, you're probably going to be okay. You can probably get over that ridge, but anything shorter than that, you're either going to end up running up to the ridge or hitting the ridge and coming straight back down. It's I don't know, 6-7 feet high. It's just enough to cause you all kinds of problems. And here's the thing, right? You don't want to be right at the foot of that. Nothing to see here. You want to be 20 yards back that way. You don't. What you actually need to do is to lay up. Don't hit your driver if you're going to run to sort of 230 yards, because then you're literally going straight up like that and you can't see anything of around the green. You might be able to see the flag, might. And if you lay back 20 yards, then you can see the flag. You can see some of the green. Obviously it's above you, but it's a really clever hole. get you two challenges. The first is here on the Hackett 17th. The second is on the Wild Atlantic Dunes 17th hole. You can see the red marker here. That's 100 yards out. It's all downhill to the green. So the challenge is this: get you and your mates to drop a ball at the 100-yard marker and putt it closest to the pin. When you're playing the 17th on the Wild Atlantic Dunes course, or the 8th as it is on the Hackett course, drop a ball down here to the right of the green until you can get closest to the pin. Carne is a wonderful story of giant dunes, low budgets, community spirit and drive, as well as farmers who were convinced to sell their land. Now, word of the course, which opened in 1995, spread fairly slowly. This is a remote spot. But it was thanks to Tom Coyne's A Course Called Ireland when he came and wrote that book here in around 2007, 2008. He was the man who really helped put this course on the map. And he came back in 2019 with the No Laying Up crew, and that has certainly tweaked people's interest. Let me lay this out as simply as I can. Carne is as big and as wild as you're ever going to get. Golf on the edge of the earth? Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. You're going to play holes here that you've never ever even imagined. You're going to enjoy yourself doing it too. Doesn't matter if you lose golf balls. This is just the sort of place that inspires the spirit. You just have to come here and know that what you're facing is out of this world. It's an adventure like no other. And if you play well, well, I imagine you'll remember it for a lifetime. Thanks for watching. You see that come down? That's a long way down when you miss it. It's beautiful when you get it up there, but if you miss, there's a real sense of heartbreak.